So, what does financial freedom really mean? For some people, it's all about a paid off house, zero debt, just security. But for others, it's having enough money to walk away from their job tomorrow and just never work again. But how in the world do you get there? Well, it turns out the map to financial freedom isn't just one single highway. We're going to explore two radically different philosophies that both promise to get you there, and in the process, maybe uncover a third path you haven't even thought about. $2.26. Let that sink in for a second. Back in August 2010, this was the entire bank balance of a 24-year-old guy named Grant Sabatier. This was everything he had to his name.
I mean, can you imagine? Sabatier was unemployed, he was living back home with his parents. That number, $2.26, that was his absolute rock bottom. But you know what? It was also his starting line. That feeling of looking at your account and just feeling your heart sink, I think a lot of us know what that's like. The real question is, what's the best way out of that feeling and into a life where you're truly free?
Well, the journey from financial stress to financial freedom is really defined by two very, very different schools of thought. I want you to think of them as two different travelers on the exact same road. You've got the methodical builder, and then you've got the all-out sprinter.
Look, this isn't about finding some single magic great answer. It's really about understanding these two main philosophies, seeing what makes them tick, and then figuring out what their totally different approaches could mean for you.
Okay, let's start with the builder. This path, really championed by finance personality Dave Ramsey, is all about creating a solid, unshakable foundation. It is a step-by-step plan that's focused on one thing above everything else: security.
And that quote right there, it says it all. For the builder, debt isn't just an inconvenience, it's an emergency. It is a fire that you have to put out before you can even think about building anything else. Managing your wealth, that comes after you've eliminated your debt. Period. End of story.
The absolute key to this whole plan is the sequence. It's a playbook. You start with a small $1,000 emergency fund, just for life's little surprises. Then it's an all-out war on debt. But notice this, and this is huge. Serious retirement investing doesn't even begin until step 4. That's after you are completely debt-free and have a massive emergency fund saved up. It is a clear, sequential, safety-first plan.
All right, now let's flip the script and look at a completely different philosophy. Meet the sprinter. This path comes from that guy we mentioned earlier, Grant Sabatier, and the whole FIRE movement, that's financial independence, retire early. This path isn't about building slowly, it's a race against the clock. This is the sprinter's mantra. See, here, the most valuable resource isn't security, it's time. The goal isn't just to be debt-free someday. It's to buy back your freedom as fast as humanly possible by cranking up your income and investing like crazy, starting right now. Now, to win a race, every sprinter needs a finish line. For the FIRE movement, that's your number. It's based on a famous study, and the idea is pretty simple. Once you have 25 times your annual expenses invested, you should be able to withdraw about 4% a year, and the money will basically last forever. That's the moment you're free. And this slide right here shows the engine that drives that sprint, your savings rate. Just look at these numbers. Saving 10% of your income, that's the traditional path, and it takes over 50 years. But what if you can manage to save half your income? You cut that down to just 17 years. And if you go totally extreme and save 75%, financial independence is just 7 years away. That is the incredible power the sprinter is chasing. So let's put them right next to each other. The builder's top priority is getting out of debt to create security. The sprinter's top priority is investing right now to buy back time. One is all about building a fortress on a debt-free foundation. The other is about building a rocket ship fueled by a crazy high savings rate. Two totally different paths to the exact same goal. Okay, so whether you're a builder or a sprinter, you're gonna need tools to get the job done. Think of this next part as the hardware store for your financial journey. These are the instruments that anyone can use to speed things up, no matter which path they're on. First up, the classic investing tools. These are the workhorses for making your money grow. You've got things like ETFs, which let you buy a tiny piece of the entire market, and then dividend stocks and bonds that are designed to pay you a steady stream of income. Both paths use these, they just start using them at different times. Then, of course, there's real estate. And it's not just about owning a rental property anymore. You've got tools like REITs,
which are kind of like mutual funds, but for big real estate projects that let you invest in massive properties without ever having to be a landlord. It's another powerful way to build wealth outside the stock market.
And finally, the side hustle toolkit. We're talking creating online courses, writing ebooks, building a blog. These aren't just hobbies anymore. They are powerful income-generating tools. For the sprinter especially, aggressively cranking up your income with a side hustle is the rocket fuel you need to hit that high savings rate and shorten your race to freedom.
All right, so we've seen the two main paths, the builder and the sprinter. But what happens in the real world? Well, the truth is, most people don't just pick one lane and stick to it. They end up creating a third path, their own.
I love this quote because it offers such an important perspective. It's from someone talking about one of the original books of the FIRE movement, and they're admitting that, yeah, the all-out sprint can feel a little, well, extreme. The principles are inspiring for sure, but the day-to-day approach might not be a perfect fit for everyone's life.
And this user really drives that point home. The community itself has kind of grown up. It's less about this cult of extreme frugality and deprivation, and more about finding a smart, pragmatic balance. The sprint doesn't have to be a miserable, joyless slog.
And this brings us to the real takeaway, the thing I really want you to remember. The most effective path is almost always a hybrid. It's about taking the builder's fierce commitment to destroying high-interest debt and combining it with the sprinter's sense of urgency to invest and grow your income. This third path, it isn't a preset map. It's the one you draw for yourself.
So we've explored the secure foundation of the builder and the all-out sprints of the FIRE movement. We've looked at the tools that you can use no matter what path you're on. The question now isn't which path is right, but which parts of each path are right for you. So I'll just leave you with this. What does your personal path to freedom look like?